Okay, so we're gonna start here. Okay, so we're here with Cloudfuel today. Cloudfuel, I want you to explain about yourself, as I don't know. I know that you're a big figure in the Rocket League community, but I don't know. I don't know like a whole lot. Like, what exactly do you do?
Okay, so I am the owner and creator of Rocket League Central.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket League Central started out as just a website that I put together with some other people that kind of shared the same dream as me to help build the community up, get the esports scene going,
Yeah.
and provide a place for fans of the game to get information about it. Since then, Rocket League Central has exploded into quite a bit of different projects. The latest one being Rocket Royale, which is a weekly tournament that I organize and run. I'm also part of a power rankings committee, which Rocket Royale is heavily based on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, from that side of things, that's kind of what I run and do. But then I'm also a part of ESL. I community liaison for the NA Rocket League scene. So basically, I help admin some of their tournaments. I help get them set up with casters for streams and things of that nature. Get them information on like what the scenes, how the scene's evolving, and
Okay.
teams and that sort of thing. And then I'm also just kind of all over the place with just helping people out. I'm all over Reddit and Twitter, looking for ways to either help somebody with a project that they're like an up and coming, like they've got a podcast or something. I try to help promote them because I've gotten to the point now where I have quite a bit of popularity
Yeah.
on Twitter, which is awesome. I mean, I
Yeah.
came from nothing, so it's really cool to see the outpouring of fan appreciation. And so like I just want to give back with that. I mean, and I've got it now with Twitch as well. The channel just got partnered with Twitch,
Nice.
so
Nice, dude.
yeah. So I'm trying to take this opportunity to help do more than just beyond myself and my team. I want to help organizations that are coming in, that have the potential to have some longevity in the scene
Mm-hmm.
and help it grow. I want to help people like yourself or anybody that's kind of up and coming that just wants to get involved. So that's kind of what I do.
Awesome. Okay, so obviously I know you've answered this in a couple of the podcasts. I know you were on Epic Shot podcast. I think you're also on the Epic Aerial podcast, if I do remember correctly. But I think so. How did you just join Rocket League during the alpha and during the beta, or were you part of SARP? So when did you really start playing Rocket League and know like this is gonna be something super cool, and I'm gonna try to really help as much as I can with the development and the growth of Rocket League? Like when did you learn? Like when did you figure that out? It's just wanted to do.
Yeah, so no, I wasn't a part of the predecessor SARP or
Okay.
Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Culture.
Yeah.
I could say it, but I wasn't actually
Yeah.
part of it. I came in during the beta, the second beta to be specific, because they had an alpha on PC, and then they had two betas. And so I came in on the second beta, which was in May of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say it was somewhere around May 12th or so is when I found out about Rocket League.
Okay.
Big fan of Reddit. I've been on it for a couple years now. Pretty much my go-to for any new information.
Oh yeah.
So I was on Reddit, just like typical day, and I saw a post about Rocket League.
Okay.
Beta coming up. There was a promotional video that Psyonix had put out, and I was just blown away. I was like, man, this looks like the
This
coolest
looks
thing
awesome.
ever. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to get into this. And so I was on PS4 at the time, and so I went and signed up for the beta. They didn't send me a key right away, so I was kind of bummed. So I created a couple other accounts and tried to spam a little bit. I sent like 4 requests, and eventually I got a key. And around that same time, I was just trying to figure out where this came from. Like, how did I not know about this game? It sounds like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
How has it been so underground? And that's when I found out about the previous game and the community that had been playing that game for years.
Yeah.
And it was just like this whole underground movement of like dedicated people that were just completely glued to this game. They couldn't play anything else, and yet no one had ever heard about it. It's like, how is this possible in this day and age? How is that possible? So I kind of got in and started talking to people, and just, I mean, I was enamored, honestly, with just like how awesome the developers were. I mean, it's not often you see a developer that is that on top of everything. I mean, they were, and this is back when there was only couple thousand people total.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really easy to see when they posted. Now it kind of gets hidden because Reddit's
Yeah.
got all the GIF files and stuff.
the shit posts, if you will.
Yeah, the spamminess.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then, man, like every time I turned around, there was a new post by, you know, either Corey or Jeremy or Dave or somebody was posting something, and they were so interactive with the community, and it was awesome to see. It's like, man, I've never played a game where the community and the developers are like working hand in hand to make the game better.
Yeah.
So I was just blown away by that. I was like, man, I have got to get in somehow. Like I've got to, like, so many things. Like, this game has so much esports potential. It's not even fun.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that the first game never really made it to that level, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that this game gets there. So, however I can help, I'm going to do that. Plus, I wanted to be part of it. Like, I mean, I was envious of this community. I was like, man, this is awesome. This is the kind of place that I would like to be. I've kind of run some leagues and stuff in the past in different games, and tournaments and things of that nature, but it was never like this. So I really just felt drawn to it. And so, yeah, I got in during the second beta. I got a key. I started playing, and I ended up having to call in sick for work the next 2 days because I could not stop playing the game. It was nuts. I got kind of connected with a few different people, and we started talking about different ideas. Like, man, how cool it'd be to have tournaments for this, and this totally has the esports potential. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put a tournament together. Like, I've done it before. I mean, I know how to do that sort of thing. So I'm just gonna wing it and see what happens. So I put together a beta Reddit tournament.
Oh,
and
great.
Around that same time, I realized that there were a lot of like top veteran players that were interested in this. I was thinking it was just going to be like a fun, casual thing.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a lot of what would then become like the top teams, you know, like Cosmic now, being one of the biggest teams. Back then, they were known as Team Scarabs.
Oh,
and, yeah. And so they were in it. Fisho Kid was in there. Like, a lot of the top players from way back when were all very interested in it. And so I started talking to those guys, which was really cool because it's like, man, they were kind of celebrities. Like, from my perspective coming in, I mean, I saw them talking about Gibbs and Kronovi. He was known as Steve Bills at the time.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, those guys were, like, icons. It's like, man, I get to play with these guys. I get to talk to these guys. How cool is that? And then they were teaching me, too. So I got to kind of pick up the game really quickly because I was seeing all the aerials and craziness that they were doing, and they're like, oh, don't do that, but definitely do this. So it was a really cool experience. And from that moment on, I was like, man, I'm glued. I am stuck. I'm not going anywhere. I have no intention of getting any other game. I am just 100% this. And since then, man, every time I find an opportunity to help, you know, whether it be, you know, putting a post out with a bunch of people's information so that way we can all kind of contact each other and set up games, setting up a website to have information all together, you know, just everything. Like, I've just been trying to basically find a way to help and also find a way to promote this and make it as big as possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, so thinking back, so you're more of a community, you're a community icon rather than a professional player, if I remember
absolutely.
correctly.
In fact, I was, funny enough, I was actually in a tournament last night for VVV Gaming.
Nice.
It's something that we've kind of started where we're taking on, like I mentioned before, with the channel now that it's partnered and we've got over 4,000 followers on the channel. I want to use that to help promote organizations that are trying to get in. So VVV Gaming a week ago came in and said, hey, we're going to do this Supersonic series. It's like a draft one night, a draft another night, and then like a regular 3v3 another night. And they didn't really get a lot of, it didn't get a lot of traction on Reddit, naturally, because with all the GIFs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then Twitter is, you know, you got to be there in the moment or you don't see it.
Exactly.
So I went to him and I said, hey, you know, we've got a channel, we've got the eyes, I know a lot of the top players. I bet you I can get you, you know, at least a couple hundred people that are probably interested in this. And sure enough, we had like 300 people watching it last night. So
oh, that's
really
awesome. Cool.
So I normally admin all that stuff and kind of run stuff behind the scenes, but they wanted to do that, which was like great. So I don't really have anything to do, so I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
So I actually played last night, and Gambit picked me up as his first pick, which was kind of a shock.
That's amazing because he's Gambit.
Yeah, it's Gambit. I'm nowhere close to that. I'm the opposite of Gambit. So we did okay. We made it all the way to the losers bracket quarterfinals, I think.
Okay.
and Team Pluto just completely destroyed us.
It is Pluto.
It is Pluto, and he had 2 guys that he played with from the week before. So yeah, I'm definitely not a pro player. In fact, I had a somewhat infamous moment last night. I don't know if you're familiar with the Kyle Mask last second shot.
Of course I'm familiar. He did it against me. Me and my threes team played him, Kronovi, and we played him, Kronovi, and Classics once, and we're tied at 3-3, and the ball was in the air for like 5 seconds after the last second, and he put it in, and we were all joking and referring back to the Kids Urban win.
So they referred to me as having something like the anti-Kyle, where I proceeded to have I kind of forced an own goal by the other team, so it looked like I scored.
Oh.
But then the very next play, I own goaled, so it basically just washed it out. So that was my infamous moment
That's
in the
hilarious.
tournament, in the spotlight. So I was like, yeah, this is why I run tournaments.
This is why
I don't play in them.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so I mean, I definitely kind of go more towards the route of an organizer.
Okay.
I am 30, so I'm a bit older than like the playing crowd.
Yeah.
I kind of come from like a logistics, customer service background, stats and things like that just kind of naturally appeal to me.
Okay.
I don't have a ton of time to play.
Yeah.
And when I do play, it's usually more for fun than super competitiveness.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I've kind of gone that route, and it's cool. I mean, I can.
It's still a super fun game to play,
Yeah, it's totally fun, and I can kind of hold my own against like non-pros, which is cool.
Yeah.
So it's fun, but yeah, I definitely enjoy kind of helping from that perspective, because like as a pro player, like all you want to do is focus on playing. So to have somebody that can kind of help organize everything, and you don't have to worry about that.
Helpful. That's true. So just I gotta answer a question in my chat. Striker, this is Cloudfuel, who is a big proponent in the Rocket League community, sets up a lot of tournaments, and just kind of a big name with the help of starting and just prospering the ESL scene and just the professional Rocket League scene. So to continue on my next question, obviously you kind of started Rocket Royale, correct?
Right.
So I know there's probably not much you can share, but is there any other big news that you would like to... Obviously, I don't think it's going to see by many people, but if there's any big news that you have up and coming that you can kind of hint at or maybe tease a little bit, is there anything coming up?
Well, for us, we're always looking for ways to kind of improve. One of the biggest reasons why I started Rocket Royale is because I felt like there was a void for the top players. They were constantly not, I don't want to put it like in a bad light, but there was definitely some...
There's a huge gap. Yeah, there's a huge gap between the professional SART players and then like because they've been playing for 5 years.
Right, and to be fair, there are some up and coming brand new teams like Double Tap's perfect example, James Spot, Flow, and Pancake. They're really good and they're all new. So it's like, okay, when those kind of teams come out, I fall in love immediately because I identify with them. Like those are all new players. They came around the same time as I did, so. In my head, I'm like, man, if I put forth the time and effort that I put into organizing, if I did that in playing, I might be at this level of these guys. So like, to me, I don't know, I like seeing that kind of storyline come up, and I like to see the vets challenge, and they do too. I mean, I don't know how much people get to hear from them. I kind of get to talk to them on a daily basis, so that's it's pretty cool, but at the same time, like I see them kind of in a more personal light. Yeah. And they're always talking about these new teams and like, oh man, I just played this new guy, never heard of him before, but he was just doing this and that. They're very excited. They come from there's 200 of us playing.
Exactly. We're lucky if there's 20 on at a time. Yeah.
Exactly. So they're very much in love with the idea of having new people that kind of come up, these prodigies and stuff. But going back to your question as far as like new stuff that's coming up. So we're always trying to kind of push the envelope, essentially. Yeah. And with Rocket Royale, the goal was to put something together for specifically the top players. And it was kind of a twofold idea because they were kind of not too happy with like the ESL and the MLG route where they would play a lot of teams that they would beat pretty handily in the first 4 or 5 rounds. Yeah. And that would take 3 or 4 hours. And then before they actually got to the meat of their competition, half the day is gone. So and the prize pool wasn't like the greatest and things of that nature. So
some of them haven't been paid out yet. Like it's $75, and ESL still hasn't really paid out some of the winners.
Yeah, I think they've got like a 90-day rule or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't really handle that. That's beyond my grade. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But so part of it was to give them a platform to just play at the top, play at the highest level, make it an invitational thing, so that way you had to really work your way in. But then on the flip side of that, with them not doing ESL, or if they do this and ESL or whatever the case may be, that gives other teams like Flash Flood, Battlecar Galactica, Hello, these teams that people don't really see that often because they lose in like the third round to Orange Creamsicle or whoever, they get a chance to actually go all the way. And now we get to kind of see more teams come up. Now, there is a little bit of concern that maybe not having the top teams there will kind of stagnate that a little bit because they're not getting to play them. But the cool thing is they have a chance to get onto the power rankings. The better they do in ESL, Gfinity, and some of these other upcoming tournaments, the more impressive it is to the power rankings committee, which I'm one member of. So that's that's kind of the goal of all this stuff. So with that aside, like we're kind of looking towards some potential leagues in the future.
Okay.
That's always been something that I've been a big fan of. As a guy who really likes stats, it's really nice to be able to have everybody playing everybody, and I can kind of see over the course of the season exactly who's done what and who's been the most valuable and who's done this, that, and the other. So from that kind of perspective, I really like it. Plus, you do less games in a short period of time, but you do more games overall.
Yeah.
So you get a better sense of where these teams really stack up, and you can really highlight the matches. So like on say we want to do it Wednesdays and Fridays or something. We could say, okay, we have team X and Y, team A and B this night, and then 4 other teams this night, and we get to promote that, and we get to talk up their stories and things of that nature. So that's something we're looking into. I can say that there's some other stuff that we're trying to promote that's not driven by us, by Rocket League Central. So there's the IRCL, which is started out as the Chump League. It's something that there's like an invitational league, and then there's also an open league, and that's just starting, I believe, today actually.
Oh, okay.
So that's
cool.
something I'm trying to kind of talk with the founder of that and see if there's any other way we can help. I've been able to kind of get him in contact with a lot of the players, and they're all excited about it. I think it has like a $1,500 prize pool, so
that's good.
It's pretty cool. I know RGN, they just wrapped up their tournaments that they did, the 3v3 and 1v1 tournaments. They're looking into doing more things, and we're
awesome.
on board to try to help with that. I've been talking with ESL since day one about getting a league going and doing some other stuff, and they're very interested, and I know they're trying to talk to Psyonix and get something going there, but there's nothing official at this point.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's nothing like set in stone. But we're always working towards making more content and more opportunities for people to play.
Awesome, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's always kind of growing.
Yeah. So only a couple more questions here. So Cosmic obviously just turned into I by Power, IBP Cosmic. Do you think that's probably one of the more That's one of the first official sponsors. So would you say that this is kind of like would you say that's the goal that teams should reach for? Or is it just kind of a stepping stone into more of like, do you think that, I'm trying to think of how to word this correctly. Do you think that the sponsor is a stepping stone for more to come in Rocket League? Or do you think that's like the most that a team's going to be able to achieve?
No, I absolutely think it's a stepping stone, but it's a great stepping stone. It's a great start. I mean, you're 100% correct. I by Power, at the time that they came in, was by far the biggest one. Since they've come in, though, SK Gaming came in. And
really? I didn't know that.
They've been around a long time. Yeah. So
that is awesome.
That domino effect is already starting.
Awesome.
I know Complexity has talked to some teams, and they're
really
a big one. Yeah.
That's amazing.
There are definitely some big organizations that are now really starting to pay attention to Rocket League.
Because it's a great esport, which is so much fun to watch and play.
The more potential, or the more eyes that are on this from an organization standpoint, the more it legitifies the game and it more legitifies the scene as a true esport, the more likely we are to get to what our end goal is. And our end goal is to have LANs. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the biggest thing. We want teams that are sponsored, that have the coolest jerseys, that are being flown out to LANs.
Yeah.
You know, guys like Shalthus and Chewy and James Bott and those kind of guys, the Pash, all of them are out there casting these events. Like, that would be the dream. That's
Yeah.
what we all want to see. And like, for me as an organizer, I just want to help get to that point. And if I get an opportunity maybe to kind of schedule some tournaments and stuff,
Be awesome.
that'd be awesome. But just to get there, that's, to me, that's the height. Like, sure, if we can get there, then of course we can look into, you know, trying to get it to the equivalent of like the international or something, which would be insane.
$10 million prize.
Yeah, but just to get there, like that is so much further than where we were 5 months ago, or where the scene was even, you know, 6 years ago when SARP came out. So that this absolutely helps kind of steamroll that process and just gets it kind of going. The more organizations get in, other organizations realize, hey, I want to be on this too, and they go grab another team and they start paying these teams. Like Cosmic, it mentions in the article, they're actually getting a salary.
Really?
They're actually getting paid to play.
That's the dream, man.
First time a team is actually paid to play Rocket League. How cool is that?
Yeah, through Rocket League, not just through Twitch being good at it, but actually being directly.
I mean, they get whatever they do through Twitch and YouTube and any other sponsors they may have. I think they have Gamer Saloon as well.
Yeah,
but
they do.
They're actually paid to be a part of iBuyPower.
Well, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the more that we get that kind of stuff going, it's even better for the scene, because those teams are going to be able to commit to playing at a high level all the time.
Yeah.
Right. We see like some teams like Untethered, for example, they have prior commitments. They have competing responsibilities. They have to work. They have family, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to say, hey, you know, mom or wife or work or whatever, I'm actually getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm just playing a game and I just so happen to be good at it. Like, this is an actual job now. I have the potential not just to make money possibly winning a tournament, but I'm definitely going to make money every single month the more I do this. So that's all good stuff in my book. That's
awesome stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's only going to help the growth, and like, you know, wanting to become a pro. Like, you know, I've been trying to. I'm wanting to. I'm still a ways off, but starting to get up there in the ranks. And so, but recently I thought to myself, like, why would I want to do this? What am I? So I kind of told myself, I'm a streamer, obviously, and so I would like to at some point maybe good enough to get partnered on Twitch and maybe just create a name for myself. But having this ability just personally makes me even want to be able to go after this even more now than just after Twitch. I mean, there's a whole point in Rocket League to get paid just for playing Rocket League. You know, it just makes a whole new incentive to become pro in this, which is awesome. I think you can't ask for much more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So so you said you talked to a lot of the bigger names. So I'm assuming that includes Lachinio, Pluto, and Waffle. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So I just saw that that's not a team anymore. Is that strictly because of outside reasons, or is that did they all just decide to not be a part of teaming?
So there are still a team. The clarification there is they're no longer with Vanquished Gaming. So when VQ came in way back in the day, about 2 months ago, they were by far, I know, right? So far back, right? They were by far the biggest dogs coming in. I mean, there were some other organizations that came in, but Vanquished for sure was at the top.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Untethered signed with them. I'm not sure what exactly the contract stipulations were or things of that nature, but, you know, that was a good opportunity for both of them. And my understanding is that everything has been great. You know, it's been an amiable relationship. VQ has promoted them, and it's been good. But there's the potential now to get teams like Complexity and possibly Fnatic or Cloud9 or any of these really big organizations. And it's kind of that deal, you know, like when you're at, you know, if you think of like professional basketball or baseball or something, when you're in the minor leagues and you're with an organization, you know, it's all great. But, you know, when the Cleveland Cavaliers come knocking and they want you, you know, it's kind of hard to say no.
Yeah, exactly.
And organizations understand that. They're like, you know what, I get that. You're kind of moving up to the big time. So that's what's going on with them.
Okay.
They're still a team. They do play sometimes. I mean, they obviously have work schedules they have to get around and all that good stuff. And I believe Waffle's in school, so he's got that too. Lachinio's, you know, younger, so he's still in high school.
Yeah,
so,
he's only,
you know,
what, 15?
16, I think.
16 now? That's nuts. That's nuts.
So yeah, they're still a team. They're just open to an organization at this point.
Okay. So one of my last questions here. Gambit left Kings of Urban. Was he kicked or did he leave? I know I don't have this information. I believe you talked to them. Gambit even talked to you. So
yeah, I do have that.
Yes.
In fact, here's your kind of a shameless plug for you.
Fantastic.
The website that I'm a part of, rocket-league.com.
Yeah, I was actually going to plug that at the end, too.
Are you?
Yeah.
So,
it's perfect.
So we have started some stuff recently, and that's run by Quest Ferret and Vice Gold and Cerubi. Those guys kind of run all the coding and design of that site. I come in with Central. I'm basically just an ideas organizer, kind of piece of the puzzle, if you will.
Yeah.
So we've been working on some stuff lately, and one of the things that we came up with was a pro players, pro teams kind of timeline / Wikipedia style thing.
Okay,
and
that's
so
cool.
we're putting stuff on there like this, like when Gambit left Kings of Urban and then joined Swarm Gaming with Pashy DeBoer. Stocky then ended up leaving Swarm Gaming and went over to Noble Esports, which was formerly known as Team Shazoo. So that kind of stuff, like, we're trying to get to a point to where we have that information pretty much first, and we are the go-to to get that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So
okay.
That's kind of what we're working on. But to go back to your question, yeah, he did leave Kings of Urban. My understanding
was it mutual?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I didn't really get into that too much. My understanding was that there was an opportunity with Swarm Gaming, and he kind of went for it. So yeah, he went and joined them. However, there is rumor this morning that Swarm Gaming is being disbanded.
Really?
So
Whoa.
there's potential that Pashy and DeBoer and Gambit are going different ways.
Okay.
That's a rumor.
That's a rumor. That's a rumor.
Confirmed it. It is mentioned on Twitter and Twitch if you want to go look it up. So who knows? The future's always changing with these teams.
Yeah.
And that's something I try to kind of give advice. You know, being a little bit older, a little bit seasoned, I try to give advice to some of these players and teams. And it's like, okay, look, there's a couple things. A, don't ever burn any bridges, because you never know who your next teammate's going to be.
Yeah.
You never know what your next opportunity is going to be. But at the same time, you're not married to these players. You're not married to these teams. So if you're wanting to do this at a competitive level, friendship's nice, camaraderie is always great, but you also need to think about putting yourself in the best competitive standpoint possible. So if there's an opportunity to be a part of a top team and you're worried about somebody's feelings, just be honest with them and say, look, nothing against you, love playing with you, but I really have an opportunity here to do something to potentially better myself, maybe make a career out of this. And if they're truly, somebody that cares about you or, at least understands, then they're going to get it, So just be upfront about it and go after these ambitions you have.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams are starting to do that now. So I think you're going to see some teams maybe start disbanding and creating new teams and kind of moving things around as they try to compete against these top groups, because you have right now essentially Cosmic's alone at the top in NA. Nobody's beaten them in a long time from the NA scene.
Cosmic?
Then you have Flips. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I zoned out there
scene,
for a second. Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I by Power Cosmic. Nobody from the NA scene has beat them in a long time.
Oh,
the last team to do it was Untethered, and that was a month ago.
Oh, yeah, I watched Gibbs VOD. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the EU side, you have Flipside Tactics, SK Gaming, pretty much the only two that have, beaten each other, and nobody else has really beaten Flipside.
Flipside's so good.
Yeah, Flipside actually played in Royale this past weekend, and they went to 5 games with Noble Esports, who has kind of a new roster. So that team's kind of, another one of those that kind of shook up things. They're kind of changing rosters around. So I just think you're going to see that more and more often now, as teams are really seeing the potential. Like, hey, Cosmic's getting paid to do this. We could get paid to do this. Let's group up and make it, a supreme superpower team and try to take them out.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of the Cosmic and Flipside matches, just because arguably the two best teams in the world, but different play styles, and it's really cool that you can take 3 different cars, and you'd think there's only a couple different ways to play, but there's so many different ways to play. Flipside's so fast, and Mark is the only one that really talks. Like, Kookster's just silent.
Yeah,
Kookster's just absolutely silent when they're playing, and yet they keep. But yet they keep this team camaraderie that I just don't understand how they do it. And Cosmic, I haven't seen. Have they ever beat Flipside?
Cosmic, yes.
They have. Okay.
So MLG about early October, I want to say, or late September, somewhere around there. They had a showcase match, and it was like the first international match. And they had Flipside versus Cosmic as the premier match, and then I think it was Kings of Urban versus Shazoo as like the the underling match, and it actually went to 7 games.
Wow.
I think it was 3-1 favor of Flipside, and then Cosmic came back and won 3 in a row or something like that. It was kind of almost a reverse sweep. And the final game, I think, was like 1 goal decider or something. I mean, it was all extremely close.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those, like, if you haven't seen it, that is a classic match for the ages. Go find that on the MLG YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. Just thinking, I have one more question here for you.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think back to what it was. So you do this purely out of just love for the game, and you have no. Do you have any connections with Psyonix? And if you don't, do you have any intention of maybe not becoming staff, but becoming like their public outreach person? Or if not, the sub question: if that were to happen, would you take that as a salary job?
So, okay, so a couple questions in there.
Yeah.
I'll answer them each. Okay, so first off, they have Durkin. Durkin is their fan ambassador.
Is he? Okay, I wasn't sure what his position was.
Yeah, so he's the fan ambassador, which essentially is like the public outreach guy. He's the guy you go to with like concerns, problems, suggestions, questions, things along that nature. And he is a direct link to Psyonix. I've known him since the beta. I actually played with him and Kronovian, Gibbs, Mike Rules, all those guys back in the day. So, and he's a SARP vet himself. He used to go by a different name back then, but he's kind of doing a lot of the same stuff, or he was doing a lot of the same stuff that I was doing. But obviously, he had the connections and he had everything needed to really just kind of take it to the next level. So when Psyonix made him the kind of the face of the public, like, I applauded that decision. I thought it was a fantastic move, because he really is somebody that I respect a lot. I go to him a lot for advice. In fact, he was very instrumental in getting us in touch with Twitch to be able to get the channel partnered. So
nice.
I love Durkin. He's awesome.
Awesome.
So he is the face of Psyonix, essentially, if you will.
Okay.
So he's the go-to guy for that. I'm doing things kind of more on the background side. I mean, I do some things similar to him because we do both kind of do write-ups and stuff about the teams.
Power rankings and whatnot.
Yeah, we're both part of the Power Rankings committee, but he does a lot of stuff that I really don't even have the information on, because he gets kind of the insider information and things along that line. So that's kind of that. As far as doing why I do it, yes, I absolutely love this community. I love the game. I love the people. So, it's something where, I've been fortunate enough to have, a good job, family, all that good stuff. So this is just something that's kind of a passion project for me.
That's awesome.
If it got to the point to where I was able to earn some sort of revenue off of this, that'd be fantastic. That just further legitifies what I'm doing and why it makes sense to do it. So, if Psyonix were to offer something, I would absolutely be interested in that. I don't know if that's even in the realm of possibilities. And if it's not, that's perfectly fine. I have no issue with doing this, as is. I mean, I've been doing it. I intend to keep doing it. I do have some contacts with them. I've talked to Psyonix Josh recently. He's
awesome,
he's like the new social media community specialist kind of guy. I've talked to Kyle. He runs the Twitter and Twitch and stuff like that. I've talked to Jeremy Dunham a couple times, Dave a couple times, Corey, all those guys. So yeah, I mean, I've definitely talked to them. They know who I am. They know, kind of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I think they were a little skeptical of me at first because I kind of came in with all these big plans, and it's like, okay, well, we'll see where you are 6 months from now. Well, 6 months from then, I'm still here and I'm doing pretty good.
making a giant tournament with the best players.
I'm trying to help as much as I can still. So I hope I've kind of proven that I am interested in this for the long haul. But yeah, if there was an opportunity, say I know they posted an esports manager position about a month and a half ago.
That'd be cool.
I kind of applied for it, but not really, because I mean, I was kind of straight up with them. I said, I don't have the experience to do this kind of stuff, because they were wanting like 10 years or something. I was like, I don't have any of that. But what I do have is passion. I do have the interest to do this. I have some knowledge of it. So, if you get to a position where you have like an esports manager and you're looking for like assistance for him or something, or her, I would absolutely be interested in that. So who knows? Maybe that's something.
Yeah.
Maybe not. either way, I'm very happy with where Rocket League Central's at. I'm happy to be a part of the Rocket League Garage team. I'm happy to help them and get them to grow. So I'm good. I mean, I'm good either way.
Awesome. So that's all the questions I have for you. That's everything I've got for you. Anything you would like to plug at the end? I'm going to kind of take this off of, the podcast idea. But anything you'd like to plug or anything you'd like to advertise while finish up here?
Yeah, absolutely. So you touched on it a little bit earlier. I have been on the Nice Shot podcast, which is run by Chewy Ty, or Chewy as he calls himself now, from Rocket League Academy, and Seismic White, editor and cinematic extraordinaire.
He's awesome,
for
yeah.
Rocket League, and he also plays really well. I don't know if you guys have seen him, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I've been a part of their podcast. I've also been a part of the Epic Aerial podcast, which is run by Roguish Elf and Tom Moore.
Those guys are hilarious.
Groups are fantastic. I love what they're doing. So definitely check those out if you haven't done so. Also part of the Power Rankings Committee. We're kind of running a little bit late this week. Apologies. Mutators have been very fun. They've kind of taken over the world, essentially. But, yeah, I'm a part of that, and we post that every week. Typically, Mondays are the EU scene. Wednesdays are the NA scene. And then Oceania has recently kind of come to us and said, hey, we'd like to be a part of this too. And so they're doing their own thing, which I think is really cool. And that gets posted, I think, on Thursdays or something. We also have Rocket Royale on Sundays. That's the big event we were talking about before, where it's double elimination, 8 of the best teams going at it. Saturday is the qualifier for the teams that want to get those last 4 slots. Definitely check out our website, rocket-league.com. It's pretty much the go-to for anything related to Rocket League news, updates, competitive, esports.
Yeah, I have it tabbed on my Chrome.
Yeah, there's an event finder on there that we have where we keep up to date with tournaments that are happening, whether they be like the big ones like MLG, ESL, Gfinity, or even some of the community-driven ones. There's the guys over at Rocket Tourney that are always doing stuff monthly.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of stuff out there, and I would definitely implore you to check it out.
Yeah, so I just linked. People in the chat just linked the Rocket League Central channel in the chat, and also the Rocket-League website. Just put those in the chat, so you guys go follow Rocket League Central. Go check out the webpage. It's awesome. It's really helpful. A lot of cool stuff on there for sure. And thanks for doing this, Cloudfuel. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
It's an honor. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So that's all the interview is gonna be. Thanks for hanging out, and hope to see you guys at the next tournament. Maybe that'd be super fun for our threes team to be in that. And thanks again, Cloudfuel.
Yeah, just get out there and compete. Just
yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's gonna end it. Thank you.